In the next week, I will make the final payment on over $270,000 worth of debt. And in this video, I'll show you how. Now, before you go, must be nice. You're a doctor. This is the Section 8 housing block I grew up in. For most of my childhood, our household income was below the poverty line. We got donations from the food bank, and my family struggled with layoffs and income insecurity. Most physicians in America graduate with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and on average, they take 10 to 20 years to pay this debt off. So I wanted to make this video to show that no matter where you are in life, I believe in you. Don't give up. You can become debt-free. Now let's see how we can do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Dang and you're watching The Financial Neurologist. I'm a board-certified physician turned financial nerd, and together we'll take an evidence-based approach to personal finance. Let's get started. Step number 1, have a plan. If you want those six-pack abs or add on 18 pounds of lean muscle, you don't just walk into the nearby gym and hope for the best. That's the fastest route to failure. Similarly, with high amounts of debt, it helps to have a plan, and this starts by visualizing with extreme clarity your fixed costs. Now, I use MetaComp for over a decade to plan out my own financial goals, but since Intuit has decided to shut this program down, I recommend opening an account with Empower Personal Dashboard. It's a tool that allows you to see your month-to-month fixed costs, while the software automatically categorizes your expenses in the background. Remember, work smart, not hard. No more pecking numbers into an Excel sheet on your Windows XP desktop. When you're starting out, I recommend choosing a budgeting app that automates this process so you can focus your mental energy on more important things. In terms of our own spending habits, I find that we tend to tell ourselves certain stories to justify our current or past actions. If you're in high amounts of debt, I encourage you to reevaluate what stories you tell yourself. Do you really need to pay $200 per month with Verizon, or can you get similar service for $15 a month for Mint Mobile? If you have 2+ kids like I do you really need that brand new 3-row SUV or that 4-bedroom single-family home with a 7% mortgage rate? Taking a moment to self-reflect and become intentional as to what fixed cost has the most impact on your financial future would allow you to take the most important first steps towards moving the financial needle in your favor. Remember that cutting back on that daily Starbucks addiction probably isn't going to do much, but tackling the larger fixed cost line items such as housing payments or your car payments will have the largest impact on your financial future. Step number 2, facing your fear of debt and getting started. Now that you've opened an account with the budgeting app and identified your major fixed costs, it's time to recognize the elephant in the room, and that is human psychology. We are prone to loss aversion. It feels a lot better to have $2,000 in savings even if we have $20,000 in debt, because the savings is something real that we can hold on to, while the debt is something we can pretend doesn't exist. Ignoring debt is like ignoring necrotizing fasciitis. It's a wound that continues to fester, and its effects compounds over time. For the longest time, the $270,000 in student loan debt I had from medical school seemed like a silly imaginary number that was impossible to tackle. But most large, long-term goals start off like this. The key step is to recognize that it exists and take one simple step at a time to continue moving forward. Now that you have a budgeting app and have gotten used to seeing your monthly fixed costs, you can start by setting a realistic monthly payoff goal. This can be $50 per month or $1,000 per month. If your budgeting app incorporates your debt payoff goal into your monthly budget, you can now visualize and tackle your debt with surgical precision. Step number 3, continue living your life. If you believe that paying off debt translates to staying at home all week, eating rice and beans, and never going on vacation, then you're wrong. And not only is this far from the truth, if you continue to have this mindset, then you'll never be debt-free. My wife and I have been on our debt payoff journey while at the same time having a life. We go out to eat 3 to 4 times a week, and we go on vacation to international destinations 4 times a year, all on a median salary of $40,000 to $50,000 per year. How do we do this? Because we spend only on the things that we value and don't spend on large ticket items that take us further from our goals. This is why we rent and we don't finance our cars, keeping our housing fixed costs very low and having 0 monthly fixed costs for vehicles. This also frees up our money to work towards our other goals, such as investing the difference for our retirement, saving for our daughter's college, while at the same time living a rich and fulfilling life. I believe a long-term sustainable debt payoff journey, like dieting, requires incorporation of this monthly habit into your life routine without placing an undue burden on how you live your life. Remember in step 1, I highlighted how we tell stories to ourselves to justify our current behaviors and action. If the current story you tell yourself about debt payoff does not align with your financial goals, maybe it's time to reevaluate the story and rewrite a new one that leads you to a debt-free and financially independent future. Step number 4, the simple path is usually the optimal one. There are many finance bros out there telling you to use velocity banking, house hacking, 401k loans, HELOCs, zero interest credit card transfer, the list goes on. Similar to how there's a simple path to wealth, there's also a simple path to debt payoff. Taking out debt to generate more debt, pay off your debt, is a surefire path to financial and life instability. Debt repayment does not require any financial tricks, but it does require something much more difficult: facing the stories we have told ourselves about our spending habits and rewriting those stories to find an optimal path towards debt freedom. Now, the final comment has as much to do with achieving life goals as it does with debt repayment, and this insight comes from my own journey through medicine. Step number 5: the journey is more important than the destination. It took me 4 long years after college before I could get into medical school, and I remember those years working as a medical assistant and taking evening classes at the local community college, feeling a bit lost, wondering if my efforts would ever pay off. It wasn't until I did the research into what it really took to get into medical school that I was able to focus my efforts intentionally towards that goal. What's important to note here is that I didn't make that plan into the latter half of those 4 years, and because of this, my initial progress was slow, until I recognized how my own inner stories on who got to be physicians was limiting my own abilities to move forward. Remember, to start the debt repayment journey, sometimes it has more to do with psychology than the actual numbers. It's important to take a step back and think about the internal stories you may have told yourself that is holding you back towards achieving your goals. Only then can you take the next step towards a debt-free future. If a kid who grew up in Section 8 housing and food stamps can become a debt-free physician, it's possible for you to become debt-free as well. You may not be where you want to be now, but if you're intentional in developing a focused plan and willing to set aside what others might think about you to focus on your own journey, then you'll get there as well, I promise. If you found value in these videos and want more useful financial insight, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and be a part of our journey. Stay tuned and keep thriving.